Good morning. Wow, nice crowd. How's everybody? Good, good. I'm just going to. We are going to start in just a second. I believe this is live. Okay. Here. Turn off your phone. There you go. So, it's a joy to see you all and be with you all. Welcome, welcome to the University of Lilongwe. My name is Dr. Amgad Squires. I wear a few hats here, but today I will be sort of the MC for the morning. We are delighted, we're excited that you have decided to study here with us, and we look forward to which semester or several semesters actually together. This morning, so today is your official first day as students of the University of Lilongwe, and this morning we have a program till about noon, 12 o'clock, to share with you some key information, welcome you, get to know you a little bit, for you to get to know us, and also to get to know the campus. So there'll be a bit of a tour near the end of the morning, and also to take care of course registration and so forth. This is also an opportunity, if you have questions, to ask those questions, and as much as possible we'll answer. Yes. So the first 2 hours or so will be a series of presentations or remarks, and then the last hour will be you having a chance to see the campus and go through registration and meet the finance office and see the library and the computer lab and so forth, the classrooms. So this is one of our classrooms, obviously. We have some, I should stand where the video camera can see me. We also have online students, and so the reason we have the computer here is we're live streaming this for those students of ours who are not physically in Lilongwe, but will be students of ours. And we're very happy that you're with us as well and able to follow the program for this morning. And just for you to know, when we finish around 11 or just after with this part of the program, and these friends go off to see the campus, we will have a separate live video call to talk about things that are more specifically for online students. So the first thing we thought to do before beginning with the come in, you might need more chairs. Before we begin with the formal remarks and presentations and such, I thought it'd be nice to get to know each other. And so I thought we could go through and just introduce ourselves, our name, what you'll be studying, and maybe a little bit about why you have chosen to continue your studies here with us, however you want to answer that. And I will just acknowledge that we have with us, and they will introduce themselves, and we'll also be addressing you later this morning. We have our two deans, we have our registrar, and I believe the president should be joining us shortly as well. So a warm welcome to all of you, and our media and communications officer is here. So, as I said, my name is Dr. Amgad Squires. I'm originally from Canada, in case you're curious. I've been in Malawi over a year, and at the University of Lilongwe, I work as the program lead in the Department of Foundational Studies, as well as director of the Center for Continuing Education, which is the online learning element of our institution. So, with that, perhaps we'll begin. You're good.
Charles Massanano, associate professor. Nelson Chafrika, working at the
both the associate.
Bob Kandawira, Dean of Students.
Bishop Kandawira, Media and Communications Officer.
So maybe we can start with you, and then we'll go up and down. Your name, what you'll be studying, your program, and why you've decided to continue your studies.
My name is Peter. I'll be studying I chose here because I read about the studies that are good. That's why I wanted to study.
I'll be studying Bachelor of Accountancy. I've chosen to study with you because I was inspired by somebody at school that I should great person.
When I have a skill set, I think you will practice exams. I'll continue with this to upgrade my skills and knowledge.
I am Enoch Mikuni, and I will be doing business administration. And it has been only for me to be here by a friend.
Right to study journalism. I'm hoping to expand my knowledge.
This is Frank David. I'm from Oxford.
So all of you will have a chance to meet Frank later.
My name is Isaac Chizoruga. I'm doing a Bachelor of Science in Social Work. I just want to further my knowledge and skills.
Wonderful.
My name is Clive Mwing. I'm studying Bachelor of Science in Procurement and Supply Chain Management. yeah, I just want to further mention.
Wonderful.
Moya Opiri, I'll be studying a Bachelor Degree in Procurement and Supply Chain. Just want to upgrade my knowledge.
I'm Gift Magori. I'll be studying Bachelor of Early Childhood Education. I'm a teacher, a professional. I'm very passionate for the children. I'm sorry, but I believe that teaching is a mother profession. So I just have a great feeling to help in learners.
Excellent. Our first teacher here. Very well.
I'm over period. I did my certificate at Lilongwe, childcare training college, so I want to continue here.
Moses Mambeni, I'll be doing business administration.
Business administration.
Yes.
I'm Peter Mkura.
You will all become very good friends with Victor. You're also going to meet him later this morning.
My name is William Asapa. I'm doing social work. The reason I decided to do social work is because I have passion for help people, and I feel like it's a qualification that will direct me in the right direction. And I chose to study here because the different colleges right around here. But then after doing my homework, I realized that this is a very good environment. Apart from that, you also need the staff that is qualified and they don't want to do it. So I think this is the right thing. Thank you.
Very welcome.
My name is Philip London. I'll be studying in childhood education. I've chosen that because I realized that ECD is an investment of the well-being of the community individually. So I just want to increase my knowledge.
Wonderful. Welcome.
My name is Mimi Kaunde. I'll be studying early childhood education. Choosing early childhood education because I'm so passionate about kids. And I've realized that in Malawi, we are way far away from other countries when it comes to early childhood education. And it affects our well-being, like daily, socially, emotionally. We are unable to control other things because a lot of people miss early childhood stages. So I'm here to get the knowledge on how I can help my country in the early childhood sector.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I am I'll be studying Bachelor of Science in Government Supply Chain Management. I have chosen University of Lilongwe because I had a lottery after I wrote my MSc exams. So I said, in my life, I really wanted a course which would be related to accounting. So since I had learned about the, so I started to investigate. So how I can be there in my first subject. That's why I left here. So in Bachelor of Community, I really like it because for some other things, what I'm doing is so I really need to increase the knowledge.
I've been studying Bachelor of Science in Supply Chain. My friend, sorry.
So several people have good friends. Welcome.
I'm Justin Mario. I've been studying Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting and Finance from the University third year. So I decided to come here. That was my friends and media as well. That inspired me to be here.
Welcome.
My name is Lucia Mukatika. I'll be studying human resource management, joining third year.
I'm from Blantyre, my family is from Blantyre, but I'm working here. So I was school shopping and I came across your Facebook page. And I've been to several other schools, but what I like most about the school is the buildings, really nice. And to top it up, when I talked to Michelle, she was very welcoming, and we interact a lot, and she's able to absorb me into the system very well. So I'm happy to be here.
Quick show of hands. How many people have enjoyed interacting with Michelle? She's a treasure for us. You know.
I'm studying social work. I chose social work because I have a passion to help people. I like to help people and help systems.
Wonderful.
My name is Nema Kayugi, and I'll be studying human resources. Nothing much. I just developed an interest over time, and I just want to expand my knowledge and skill.
Great.
My name is Kipti. I will be studying private economics and supply chain management. I'm here because I feel like this is the right place for me.
My name is Olivia Kumaniwa. I will be studying social work. Studying second degree. Well, social work, I've explored other fields, but I've always felt that social work is my thing, the passion. So yeah, and I've explored other schools as well, but yeah, I've connected to this school, and I feel it's really where I need to go.
Thank you.
I am Nicholas. I'll be taking knowledge to home. I'm here because the friend need to be here.
Very well.
Kondan Manyongo. I'll be doing marketing.
Marketing.
And of course, I'm advised by my friend to choose University of Lilongwe.
With the government here, I'm here just to upgrade my career.
So you have two classmates side by side. You have found each
I'll be studying marketing here. I'm passionate about it, and this was recommended. My name is Maureen.
Wonderful.
My name is Richard Jackson, member of staff, working as life advisor. Thank you.
You will also become one of your best friends. And last but not least, a new arrival.
My name is Frederick Kamasa. I'm here to upgrade. I'll be doing a Bachelor of Science in supply chain. Procurement and supply chain management. Yeah.
Wonderful. So let me scooch this around. Back to the front. Plug it in. All right. So I want to stand there, but then the camera cuts off my head. So it's not very nice. So once again, a really warm welcome. As we can see, we have a diversity. I realize you're doing marketing, you're doing community development. Yes, so your classmate is 2 seats behind you. So we have a diverse incoming class, doing different years, different programs, a variety of reasons, but what you have in common is a desire to, as you were saying, to upgrade your skills, to acquire more knowledge, ultimately to become more capable in your chosen field. And as some of you said, to be able to contribute to my community, to society, to the welfare of children, to running a business more effectively, and so forth. And so we're really happy that you're here. We have large faculty. You're going to meet them throughout your courses, but we have over 30 faculty members. All of us here also teach. So you may see some of our faces in some of your courses. And yeah, I don't want to talk too much. I think we want to move on with our program. So so we're going to start with the registrar. And so Mr. Chamveka is the university registrar. He will share with us a bit about the structure of the university, some key points about that, and I think some other messages also. With that.
Well, a good morning to all of you. So my name is, you could call me Nelson, it's okay. I have been working at the University of Lilongwe for over 7 years now. My duty this morning is to simply introduce you to the structure of the university. That becomes important along the way in your studies, because you might need to interact with certain structures within the university. So I'm here to simply illustrate that, and I'm hoping that we can all use our imagination without having me to project anything here for you to see. Before I share with you the actual structure, how the university itself is structured, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background to the University of Lilongwe. How did it come about? So the University of Lilongwe actually is a brainchild of a group of people, about 5 of them. And this group of people, they have been in the education sector for, on average, about 30 years in the field of education. So the history of the University of Lilongwe, actually we can say it began, say, 25 years ago, which might sound a bit strange, because I think in your mind you're thinking, well, this is a new university, how can we be talking about 25 years ago? Well, the University of Lilongwe actually was established by a group of people who own Bambino schools. So we're probably familiar with Bambino schools. And so Bambino schools started some 25 years ago, sometime around 2003, 2002, I think. So actually started as a nursery school. Bambino school started as a nursery school. And there was one building that is still in existence right now, that is part of that history. As you're coming in on the entrance to your left, that building that you see as you're coming in on the entrance to your left, that was the first building in this place. That was where Bambino Nursery School started. After a couple of years, of course, the parents realized that the quality of education that was being offered was really good. And when their children were going through the nursery school, they kept on wondering, well, after nursery school, where are these children? Where are our children going to go? So naturally, the conversation led to the establishment of Bambino Primary School. This is like an organic process as you're beginning to see. From nursery school, then it went to the primary school. And as the students are also progressing through primary school, they get to standard 7, and the parents are worried also, where are we going to send our children, and so on and so forth. Naturally, that progression then led to the establishment of Bambino Secondary School. And so that was part of the story. And so you have the nursery, then you have got the primary school, then you have got the the secondary school. At some point, a conversation started regarding offering a special type of education. And when we looked around at that time, we realized there was not so much that was being offered to students with special needs. And so a component was added to the primary school, but also adjacent to secondary school, to offer education to students with special needs. So these would be students who have got hearing impairments and all kinds of special needs and requirements. So that component was added to that. Somewhere around 2012, the same group of people, after running schools successfully over a period of 20 years, realized that not only would they need to offer an education at a tertiary level to the students who have gone through a complete Bambino education, school education, but also to respond to the needs. And there was a good conversation around that. One realization was that at least by 2012, there were not many private colleges and universities, especially universities. But there was a demand that was really rising, and the demand was actually understandable, because there were many people who were graduating from secondary school, but also there were also people who were already in the workplace who needed to either upgrade themselves, they needed to advance skills and knowledge, which is something that all of you have been sharing here. But our education system was so narrow that the places and opportunities to study in higher education in universities was really very, very small. So, for example, the typical policy that the universities would use, the public universities, to accept a person to go into their universities would be, has to be a person who has scored points between 6 points and I think at some point it was 36, and then it got reduced to 25, and then I think it keeps on shrinking. The idea of limiting students who can access higher education is based on something which is called the bed space. Literally a bed, right? A bed that you sleep on. The policy of putting students into public universities was based around this policy of bed space. Now, what that means is that public universities can only admit students into their universities based on what? Based on a number of beds which are available on campus. Now, if I have 1,000 beds on campus, it means I can only recruit how many students? 1,000. That's it. Now, to give you a context to this, how this situation becomes awkward. Every other year, let's say not every other year, for the past 10 years, year-on-year basis, for the past 10 years, year-on-year basis, how many students do you think sit for MSCD? How many? Like on average, if you can give a guess. I'll tell you. On average, 150,000. Yeah. 150,000 students sit for Malawi School Certificate of Education. 150,000 on average. We have been averaging those numbers for the past 10 years, right? Who would like to guess what the pass rate is? I'll tell you. We float between 50 and 51% pass rate, eh? People who have passed MSCE. Slightly between 50% up to 51%. In some years, of course, we get to around 58, maybe 60, but across the board we average 50 or 51%. Let's say we work with 50%. Remember 150,000, right? Yeah, 150,000 students who sit for MSCD. If the pass rate is 50%, how many people have passed? About 75,000, right? Okay, so we split in between 75 who have passed and 75,000 they have failed. Okay, remember these are young people, right? They are Malawians, they deserve an education, isn't it? But for some reason, for one reason or the other, 75,000. So we're going to forget about, no, not forget, we're going to put aside the 75,000 for now. Think about the 75,000 who have passed. Yeah? How many of those 75,000, they are said, quote unquote, they are said to qualify for entrance exams to public universities? Would you like to guess? 10,000, that's a good guess. 10,000. But we're averaging around 20,000. You can keep the figure, right? 20,000. So remember, we've got 75,000 who have passed MSCE, but those who have scored between, let's say, 6 points and let's say 36 somehow, 30 points, they are 20,000, which means they sort of qualify to sit for entrance exams to public universities. We're together, right? So we remove the 20,000 from the 75. How many have not qualified to sit? Remember, to sit for entrance exams. How many now? So let's add the 55 to the 75 who have failed. Okay. So now we work with 20,000, right? Okay. Remember bed space? 1,000. How many public universities? I'll give you 5 now. Because we have split the University of Malawi into some courses. Yeah, let's give it 9,000. Okay? Be very optimistic about the numbers. Let's give it 10,000 even, right? So at one go, collectively, all our public universities are going to get how many? 10,000, right? How many are remaining? From the 20, how many? Remember, these are qualified, right? So now what happens? Year on year, every other year, because MSc is written every other year, right? So every other year, we keep on adding. Oh, remember, we added 50 to the 75, right? And we said how many? So let's add the 10 who have failed to go probably into that bunch as well. How many now? So what do we do with these people? What do we do with them? And every other year, we keep on adding roughly the same number every year. This year we do the same thing. This year, next year we do the same thing. Remember, these are our also, right? So we condemn them. You're not good enough. We can only work with these people. So that number is those who are coming from high school or secondary school. Out there, in the offices and businesses, you've got talented individuals and we've got people who like to advance. But I really want to go to this and study. No, we can't allow you. And those numbers, we don't want to go there as well, right? Because I'm sure there should be thousands and thousands of them, right? So this is part of the conversation. It's a genuine conversation. This issue, why I'm sharing this with you is because this issue is not about making money. It isn't. It's about offering an opportunity to Malawians to contribute to their own transformation, leader, because you really have to transform yourself as an individual, but more so also contribute to the transformation of our country, isn't it? Yeah. So each one of you, every single person in Malawi deserves an education. This is our realization. We look at the numbers, we look at the situation like it can't be. How can it be that every other person who deserves to advance in their profession, in their education, how can it be that we seem to be focusing on privileged few? How can it be? What kind of a system is that? Is that even a just system? It isn't. Because I can tell you, this group of youth that I've described to you, this group of youth, let's put it around 120,000 of them every other year. Where do you find them now? We'll give you a number of opportunities that exist for them. One of it is to go to technical schools, right? Yeah, they can go to technical colleges. But even there, it's also limited, isn't it? Last time I checked, technical schools can only take roughly about 10,000 across It's a small number. We are leaving out over 100,000 young people, right? Young people with energy, with capacity, with abilities, creativity, all the things that you require for a country to move forward. And so if we are not moving forward, one of the reasons is that also we need to take care of this population. It is our responsibility. Our generation, your generation, the generations to come, we need to take care of our young people. Now imagine, and I don't want to paint a very grim picture, but if they don't reach to technical colleges, what are they going? Well, I know where some of them are going. They become frustrated and you find them in town, right? And what are they doing? Awila na nomini base. Alinija ni mtumba. Let me see here. That is potentially that is a dangerous situation. It is a positive situation, but at the same time, I think potentially it was a dangerous situation. Because what you have is a group of young people who are frustrated with life, isn't it? They can't see opportunities there. I need to advance, but I can't see. So what happens? Next time, a mad person will just come about and will give them a machete and say, everything you find on the street, take it. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah? Chaos, isn't it? Yeah. So what do we do here? The thing that we offer, the University of Lilongwe and other universities, it is there out of an appreciation of the situation that we find ourselves in. So I share this story, I share these anecdotal issues, just to give you a context of why we're here as a university. Why are we here? It's much bigger than just thinking about money and qualifications. Because an education needed gives you a freedom and it liberates you to be able to advance every single goal that you have in life. So in 2014, the University of Lilongwe, with the consultation of the group of people that I told you about, and we established the University of Lilongwe. And in 2017, the University of Lilongwe was registered and accredited by the National Council for Higher Education. And in 2019, we registered the first cohort of students. And we have never looked back ever since. We're committed to providing you the best education possible. Why I started by sharing the story of Bambino and nursery school and all these kind of things is to let you know that we don't think about it. We have no any other business except education. We don't know anything else apart from education. That's what we know. That's what we dream about. That's what we think about. That's what, probably if it was something to be eaten, we would have been eating education. So you never find us going into, opening a garage or, well, maybe as an entrepreneurial, as an idea, but our focus is zero on education. We have been at it for the past 30 years. We're not experimenting. We can't, because this is also a matter of life, isn't it? Don't experiment with things like that. It's a matter of investment. If you're putting in money into this, you cannot experiment with this. It's not an institution that you show up today and then 3 months down the line, you have disappeared. It won't. We are here to stay and we are here to be part of your journey. So that also next time, when your friend wants to study, you could actually say, I'm actually comfortable to refer you to go to the university. Last time I was sharing most of us here are Christian. The parable of mustard seed in the Bible. And the story I've told you about parallels that parable, in a sense that when you look at the mustard seed, I'm told is one of the smallest seeds that exist. Small, like when you look at it, right? When you look at it, you're thinking nothing can come out of this. Like, I mean, what it becomes later on, when you look at it initially as a seed, you're thinking, so potential is there. So when we started with the nursery school as part of the education process, perhaps at that point it was just a seed that was planted. Over time, this seed has blossomed into a tree where all of us find ourselves in now. And our hope and our aspirations is that you become part of that tree, that you water this tree, that you create an environment for the tree to continue growing, so that not only you, but our children and maybe our children's children can also be part of this adventure. So to ensure that that tree functions properly, of course, you really need some structures. You really need some branches in there. You really need a trunk in there so that the tree can actually become stable. My responsibility is now to share with you what holds this tree together, right? At the very top, so you can think of an organizational structure. At the very top of the organization, the University of Lilongwe, it's the governing council. The governing council is a group of people, 9 of them now, a group of 7 now, who really are responsible for whatever happens at the University of Lilongwe. The programs that have to be offered, the fees that has to be charged, and so on and so forth. It's the governing council. All of us here are somehow answerable to the governing council. It is the policy holding structure of the university. It decides, it recruits, it has got its own constitution, and so on and so forth. These 7 members, they don't work for the University of Lilongwe, but they somehow own the University of Lilongwe. So we've got people who are working for the Reserve Bank of Malawi, who are members of the governing council. We've got people who are working in the government, who are on private businesses, they're part of the governing council. Very independent, but all of us somehow have to be answerable to them. Below the governing council, there is, if you're going to go to a public university, you probably find an individual or a person whose title is the vice chancellor. The vice chancellor is like the CEO of a university. Is the chief administrative officer and chief academic officer, responsible for both academics and administration. In our case, we don't call that person the vice chancellor, we call that person the president. Like the president of the nation, the president of the university. And the president of the university is Professor Francis Mkandeli, who just joined us. He's sitting over there also today to welcome you and in his own special. Now, because he cannot be everywhere, obviously, then he is assisted by a number of people. And remember, I said that he is the head of both academics and administration, right? So on the administrative side, he is assisted by yours truly. So I work as the university registrar, I report directly to him. And my responsibility mainly lies on academic administration. So everything to do with administration comes through me, and I report them to the president. On the other hand, on the academic side, which is something that we'll be dealing with probably on a day-to-day basis, we have got the dean. In our case, we have got the executive dean. The executive dean is the head of academics. He is responsible to the president also. And our executive dean is Professor Charles Masangano. And he is the one who holds everything in academics. Going back to the side of admin, there are also a number of other people who assist myself in administration. So as you've already been told, Madam Kandawile here, she's part of admin. A couple of other officers, Frank is also part of admin, who deals with finances. We've got the finance officer, she's not here today, but probably along the way, you meet these people and you know them. Then with the academic side, we have Mr. Bob, is sitting over there. Mr. Bob is already interacting with Bob Gandawide more often than not. Bob, his title is the Dean of Students. Leader. He is the one who does a bidding on your behalf as students. He is your spokesperson in admin, any issue that is to do with academics, to do with just student life, and so on and so forth. It goes through his office. And when we're having a management meeting, he's the one who becomes a student in that meeting and speaks on behalf of our students. So a very important component of the university structure, he sort of holds the two sections of the university together, the admin and the academics. He sort of like sits in between and has to juggle these two responsibilities together. On the other part of academics, so you have the Dean of Students, the Dean, the Executive Dean, but below the Executive Dean, we've got the heads of departments. The way that the academic side is structured, it is structured according to what are called schools, and Professor Masakama will explain what that looks like. But in each one of those schools, in other universities, they will prefer to use faculty, or some will just go for department really. But in our case, it's the School of Management, the School of Media and Journalism, the School of Applied Sciences, the School of Education. Each one of these schools is headed by the head. These are the heads of departments, so there are four of them. You probably meet them along the way. So if you are studying BBA, marketing, procurement, human resource, it probably fit in the School of Management, I suspect. Someone will explain that in a short. Recently, a year now and some months, we decided to add another department, and this department is called the Department of Foundational Studies. And Dr. Amgat Squires is the program lead, he's the head of the Department of Foundational Studies. I'm sure he will also share at some point what this department is up to, but it's a very interesting and exciting department that's beginning to shape some of the foundations of the university. We really need to adapt, we really need to become more characterized by some specific identity, what are we identified with as a university. So at the center of that, DFS amongst many other things that they are actually involved in. So roughly, I think in terms of the structure of the university, that's what it looks like. If it has anything to do with academics, anything, being the scheduling of classes, performance of lecturers, switching of programs, and there is an interesting arrangement which is interesting for the university, and I'm sure you learn about it. Some students would say, yeah, but at my workplace, I can see that they're making these changes very fast, and I didn't need to advance very quickly also. 2 years is too long for me. 2 years, no? So an innovative approach was introduced in the university, and it's called fast tracking, fast track approach. So instead of doing the program for the next 2 years, or if you are up to it, you could probably do it under a year. It has limitations to it. So just to give you an idea, if say you started in year 3, you realize, oh, I can do my program, it will take me probably 2 years, right? 4 semesters. Well, can I do this in under a year? Well, yeah, it is possible. It's not beyond the range of possibilities. It's possible. How? So then you say, okay, so per semester, on average, you're taking at least about 5 courses per semester, right? Yeah, if you wanted to do fast tracking, it means per semester you have to take 10. Just to give you an idea of what that means, is that for every course per semester, right? For every course, one course that you take, By the way, so this is the difference that sometimes confuses people. For us, we talk about a program, right? BBA is a program. We don't call it a course. And if someone asks you out there, what course are you doing? If you're learning at the University of Lilongwe, it will be a bit awkward. They say a program, right? Bachelor of Business Administration, Bachelor of Procurement and Supply Chain Management. We call that a program. A program is split into courses, right? So that's why I was saying that it will be awkward for someone to be asking, what course are you doing? Because it's like, yeah, but the semester I'm taking 5 courses, which one should I mention? Okay? But the program makes sense for us. So a program is divided into courses now. A semester, you're taking 5 courses on average. Some are taking 6 a semester. Now, if you do decide to say, I would like to try this innovative way of what the fast track mode, 10 courses. However, the course, the semester, you're supposed to do roughly, on average, about 2 assignments, isn't it? 2 assignments. How, if you're taking 5 courses, how many assignments are you going to be doing? If you're taking 10 courses, yeah. Remember, there are also exams, eh? Yeah. So those are some of the practicalities to be thought about. But in a sense, it offers you the flexibility that if you've got certain goals that you really need to achieve in a certain relative short period of time, there's a possibility of doing that. I share this because Bob and Professor Masangano, in their academics, they can, assist you to sort of navigate through these options as well. On my side, it's probably the finance, it's probably ensuring that the lecturers are actually teaching, and so on and so forth, and that they are remunerated at the end of the month, and so on and so forth. I share this once again, just so that when you start learning, you shouldn't be confused about what are the structures of the university, or who reports to who, and so on and so forth. That was my responsibility for today. I was told that there was not I was told, I know. Are we really? Maybe we can have a better talk. Okay. So at that point, please allow me to take my seat. And once again, welcome to the University of Lilongwe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we will now move on to a few remarks of formal welcome by the University President. We're so happy that you joined us on this Saturday. It may be gray outside, but it is sunny in here. So I will invite you to address us for a few minutes, and then we'll carry on with the program.
We'll just do this. I will. Well, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you. The British philosopher and historian Arnold Toynbee exposed us to some very fascinating discourse in history. He was challenged, but somehow I feel that what he said holds water even today. Maybe that's why I'm slightly late, because his philosophy of life was from God the source to God the goal. So as far as he was concerned, God is the source and God is the goal. So who was I, or who am I to question that? So that's why this morning I had to go and bid farewell to our priest, Reverend, who claims that he has answered God's call to go elsewhere. So who are we to question that? So we had to be there to bid him farewell. But as we were bidding him farewell, he read from the book of First Samuel 17, from verse 32 to 52. I'm sure some of you are churchgoers here. Samuel 17, what does it remind you about? David and Goliath, isn't it? Yeah, so here was this giant, Goliath, ostensibly an invincible individual. And there was this young boy, David, who found a soft spot and actually is healed in the almighty armor of Goliath and was able to slay him. The lesson I drew from there was that if you are determined, if you have set your goals, it's possible, very, very possible, to achieve your goal. So let me congratulate each one of you for choosing to come to University of Lilongwe to do your studies. I know the majority of you are entering in between either the second year or third year so that you upgrade yourselves. I would say that that choice that you have made is extremely commendable and you've come to the right place. We have very, very experienced lecturers here. As I was coming in, the registrar was just giving you a history of this place. That what we drink here is education, what we eat is education, what we drink is education. Even if you cut our blood, you will find education in there. So we are dedicated to be with you all the way in education. We have people who have been in academia all their life. Professor Masangano there is a don of the University of Malawi. What used to be Bunda College and now Wana. Having retired there as a professor, he said, well, why don't I continue to profess? So he's here with us. We have Dr. Amgad Squares. He's starting a very exciting new program, and we're very, very happy to be with him. And a few colleagues who have been directors in the ministries and in the business world. They're here. So we will all share our experiences with you. But we also believe that you also have got experiences which you are bringing with you from out there. So together, we should form a very, very exciting team. When we started, we had a few individuals who trusted us, and we trusted them, because it's not very easy for a new institution to attract people and then they trust you. But those individuals are now testimony to what University of Lilongwe is all about. Because in the few years that University of Lilongwe has been around, those people are holding very senior positions where they are. If you ask our communications officer, she will tell you experiences, or she will share with you experiences of our alumni who are shining out there as procurement officers, as sales individuals, as business persons. Only yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, the registrar was sharing with me the experience of a young fellow who, having been inspired by a program that we are partnering with the German National Commission for UNESCO here, has developed some gadgets. And people are very, very interested in those gadgets that he has developed. He is a product of this place. Why I'm saying that you have made the right choice is because education does not end. In fact, one of the leading philosophers in education, a guy called R.S. Peters, says education starts from the day you are born. Though if I'm a Catholic, I would disagree with him. I would say from the day you are conceived. Because even in there, you start learning a few things to survive to the day you die. But perhaps even when we are dead, our body has to also adjust to learn a few things. So education does not end. Before I retired, I was working for a very, very long time with the Malawi National Commission for UNESCO here in Malawi. And at that time when we started working, most of us, the highest qualifications that we had was a first degree. And for us in the National Commission for UNESCO, as program officers, we also had our own first degrees here and there. And because we were working for an organization which believes in training, believe you me, we were very, very conversant in a lot of things. I'm sure where you are at work, you are conversant in a lot of things. But out there, sometimes the perception is different. I had a shock of my life in 1999. I went to Zomba for some work. And as usual, in the evening, you would want to relax. So I went with colleagues from, I thought they were colleagues, I thought they were friends. Chancellor College to some place. So we were chatting and drinking and so on. And then I had the call of nature. And the colleagues continued chatting. Then there was this young man who, I don't know what they were talking about, but he interjected. And in Chichewa, he said, awa sana kunamizeni awa ndi aburudu awa. Meaning us from the National Commission, yeah? It's a man amazing if you're Burutu. So when I came back, I said, colleagues, do you know the perception that people out there have of us? As far as they are concerned, we are nothing, we are Maburutu, right? So why don't we come up with a training program? So we devised a training program. Each program officer had to do a master's in their field. And then our boss had to do a master's in administration, business administration. So we embarked on that journey. Since I was head of program at that time, I wasn't the boss. I had to find a way in one of the programs. So I chose educational leadership, and I was accepted to do that at Rhodes University. And as fate would have it, just before I started my journey at Rhodes University, my boss decided that he was going to help himself on the resources of the commission. So he was kicked out, and then I found myself in the driving seat. So I had to change path and enroll for a master's in business administration with Maastricht Business School of Management, together with a summit. So that was my journey from an educationist to a business management specialist. But then my appetite grew until I did the PhD in the same. So the choice that you have made is going to make a lot of difference in your life. Once you start this journey, it becomes so interesting that you want to continue and continue and continue. In fact, with me, I continued some of the habits which I had were no longer a priority, because now I had another appetite for books and so on. So I would encourage you to take your studies very seriously. We will help you through. And I do hope that in 2 years' time, in 1 year's time, we will be celebrating your success. But then sometimes, as you journey, because of the work experiences, you may be complacent. Please don't. Because you have a time schedule. If the program is for 2 years, sacrifice a few things and finish in the 2 years so that you go back to those things later. When we were finishing our program at Master's Business School, there were some characters. The course was for 2 years. But then there were some people who had taken that course for 6 years. In fact, the 6th year was because the school had written them to say, now look, if you don't graduate this year, then we think that you have to start all over again, right? So let us be serious and finish, and then it ends there, and then you have an appetite to do more, and so on. So I should wish you all the success. You'll be seeing some of us in class, though we are in administration, but we also love to be in class because that is where we have been and that is where we will be. I take that after my vice chancellors in the University of Mali, first vice chancellor, 2 vice chancellors. Dr. Ian Michael, he was teaching mathematics. Professor Gordon Hannings, if he wasn't teaching, perhaps we would not have had the Jaguaras of this world, because he was the one teaching the Jaguaras of this world philosophy. So with these few remarks, let me wish you all the best, and God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. And for those inspiring thoughts about the value of education, the role of education. I know for most of us, this isn't our first time in university, and we bring to it our life experience, which will enrich our studies, it will enrich the conversations we have with each other. One of the things the university does is it creates a space where you meet people who have different experiences. So you meet lecturers, of course, but you also meet your fellow students. And in class and outside of class, those conversations about what we're learning about, how does that apply? In my workplace, this and this happened and we didn't know how to deal with that. How would we apply what we're learning to what the situation? So that's the kind of thing that university is meant to provide. It is about learning the accumulated knowledge of humanity, basically, in whatever field that you have chosen. So I'm not here to give another talk. We're, I think, a little bit behind where we had planned to be, but we can make it up. We have 3 more short speakers, but we also have a special letter of welcome for every new student at the University of Lilongwe. And we'd like to start with that first, and then we'll have the last few remarks, and we'll try and end around 11 or shortly after. I think we had planned 11:15 actually. So this will be a bit of a change of pace. Let me just grab an extra of these. I'll leave one for you. And can we somehow circulate some down this way and some down that way? So everybody grab a copy and pass it down. And I will try and figure out the projection. Okay, I need to do it from here. It's a bit closer. So, hello all. Like this, and then where is my Is the projector on? Do we have the remote? Thank you. So, I hope this works. Coming up. So is everybody still making its way around? Okay. Is anybody here? Is there a copy for you? Yeah. Good. Richwell, did you copy? One more down there. Let's see. Like that. And all right. So this is Nelson calls this a love letter, which it is a kind of love letter from us to you, to welcome you and to tell you a bit about what we aspire to, which you've already begun hearing this morning, and what we hope for you, and some of the things that you can expect. So come on, you can grab that chair if you like. If you don't mind there being a computer in front of you.
No, it's fine.
And then we were hoping to spend a few minutes if you have any thoughts or reactions to any part of this letter. All right? So this is dated 16 January, that should be 24, 16 January 2024. To all students joining the University of Lilongwe. Dear student, this is you. On behalf of the whole team at the University of Lilongwe, lecturers, staff, and management, I wish to extend to you a very warm welcome and congratulate you on having chosen to join our institution. You are part of a diverse incoming class. Some of your new classmates have recently completed their secondary education and are now pursuing a post-secondary qualification, while others are upgrading an existing qualification, it's most of you, or reskilling into a new occupation. Some have chosen to attend classes on campus as day or weekend students, while some are enrolled as online students. Whatever the path that has brought you here, may you feel you have reached your academic home, a place that will enable you to pursue your noble aspirations together. As a university, we believe that humanity is entering a new stage in its development, a stage when world unity can be achieved and the well-being of all peoples can be assured. Such a complete transformation requires a fundamental change, both intellectual and spiritual, within individuals, communities, and the institutions of society. Education is central to this process of change. And since this transformation must happen in every aspect of life, the kind of education required must also address all aspects of human existence. This is what the University of Lilongwe offers. Our desire for you then is both excellence of learning and excellence of character, that you should become known as builders of unity, as champions of justice, and capable promoters of community well-being. The degree to which you attain this high station will depend on your own efforts throughout your studies, and indeed, throughout your life. You will find that ours is not an environment of competition, but of striving for excellence. The means we use in our pursuit of excellence are consultation, cooperation, and encouragement. You will find it most beneficial to demonstrate a spirit of friendship and of mutual support and assistance with your fellow students. Naturally, rules and policies are needed to maintain a healthy learning environment. These are outlined in the student handbook, which you should read early on. We wish to draw your attention to one of the most important aspects, which is the standard of conduct, personal and academic, expected of all students. Every choice you make, be it about your manner of speech or dress, how you treat your professors, the staff, and your fellow students, or otherwise, is an indication of the character you are striving to develop. Let these choices reflect your best self. Ultimately, you are the agent of your own learning. No one can learn for you. As a university, we try to provide a learning environment that is nurturing and empowering. Our faculty and staff work to foster such an environment every day. Yet the student body plays a distinctive role here as well. Your success will depend largely on your attitude towards your studies, the discipline with which you attend your classes, the diligence with which you carry out the assigned readings and assignments, and the spirit of friendship, cooperation, and mutual support you demonstrate in your interactions, to name but a few aspects. As registered students of the University of Lilongwe, you will enjoy a number of privileges, such as access to the internet on campus, access to a digital library and online learning platform, a computer lab and a media studio. Our recently established Department of Foundational Studies offers courses unique in all of Africa that aim to further develop fundamental capabilities that will assist you to succeed both in your studies and throughout your life. And our extracurricular activities include, for example, a vibrant athletics program and a poetry club. We look forward to seeing what contributions you will make to enriching student life. As with every worthwhile undertaking, you are sure to encounter challenges and difficulties, be they academic or personal. We encourage you to help one another with compassion and wisdom, and to seek help when you need it. The Office of the Dean of Students can also assist you should you encounter any difficulties or issues. With best wishes for your success here, N. Chambeka, Registrar, University of Lilongwe. That's a beautiful letter, Mr. Registrar. So before we go on, we'll take a few minutes if there are any reactions, thoughts, questions about any part of that.
Questions of the letter or just any of the question? I saw that.
I was thinking about the letter, but if you have another question.
Then I'll ask you the question.
Think of a question about the letter.
No, it's clear.
How does it make you feel reading this?
Makes me feel most welcome.
Most welcome. Good. You are.
It makes me feel that you have a good structure in your operations. So it makes me confident in my first day at the installer.
confident because there is order.
With this clarification, I feel like I'm at home, studying, helping each other as a student. So
Feel at home and free to help each other. That's one of the major things we've noticed in the student body, that point about often competition is held as the way in which one becomes great. And we think that's overemphasized. Actually, the way we all improve is by helping each other. There is room for everybody to excel and be great, and each of us becomes great with our particular talents and skills. I think I saw a hand tentatively over there. Huh? Here? Yes, please.
Yeah, I feel motivated by the speech of our president. Yeah.
Your speech is motivating. Excellent. Maybe one more and then we'll continue. I don't know if any of our online students who are joining us, over a dozen online students are watching live. So I don't have access to the chat right now, but somebody can tell me if they are. I'll disconnect this and don't need that anymore. And let's see. Computers are wonderful, but they can also be a pain. Let me find it again. Okay. All right. So, last chance, anyone? So with that, we're going to move on. Yes, please.
So I'm just encouraged when I shared with a friend that I was going to come here from an orientation. And then he said, where? I said, the University of Lilongwe. He said, where is this university? And so it is like, he's not aware of where exactly the university is. So there is hidden treasure here. Yeah, because from what I've heard so far, I'm really encouraged.
Thank you. That's heartwarming to hear. Yes. Great trees grow from small seeds. So with that, I will invite our executive dean to give an overview of the academic side of things. Then we'll have a few things shared by the dean of students about the academic calendar. And very briefly, what is this online learning platform that was mentioned in the letter? We'll hear a little bit about student life, and that will conclude the morning. So it's now, I think we said about 15 minutes for each, but I don't know if I can ask you to even tighten it to 10 minutes, but let's find out. So please welcome Professor Masangano, our executive dean.
Thank you very much. Let me echo what has been said by almost everybody who has spoken, especially the president's remarks, that you are most welcome to Lilongwe University. University of Lilongwe. Sorry if you find me in that mistake. I was so much happy in the university. Forgive me, but at University of Lilongwe, you are most welcome. And as my colleagues have already said, it is important to congratulate you for having made it to this place. And I'm not just saying that, I really mean that, because if you go back to your own life when you were in grade 1, you had many colleagues who have not made it up to this level. You went to secondary school, you had many colleagues who have not made it up to this level. So, this is a very great achievement. No. I said it. I will briefly talk about the structure, since the registrar had mentioned that I was going to do that. I'll rush to do that since I've been given very few minutes to speak. Course delivery, course structure. I think the last 2 bullets are the ones which I'll pay a little bit. The assessment and course structure. Bullets I've spent a little bit of time because they deserve that. So in terms of the academic departments, schools, which my colleague talked about earlier on, we have the School of Management, we have the School of Education, we have the School of Governance, and then Applied Sciences. In addition to foundation studies, which he talked about within that. Foundation studies is actually helping us organize those things much better. So in terms of the way we deliver courses, face-to-face basis, for full-time students, and when I'm saying full-time, I mean those who do their coursework within the week, from Monday to Friday. And then there are weekend students, those who come here on Saturdays and Sundays. But then we have the online, when we are, as my colleague was saying, whatever we're doing here, some people out there are seeing us, and they can also be learning through that, as well as other modes of delivery. In general, each course is taught in a 2-hour session every week for 15 weeks, and that makes our semester. In the first 7 weeks, we will be required to do 2 things. When I say we will be, I'm referring to you, not we, but you. You will be expected to complete 1 assignment, and at the end of the 7 weeks, you will also be expected to write a mid-semester exam. And maybe there will be 1 week in the middle for a break, and then we'll start again for the remaining 8 weeks. In which will also be expected to complete at least 1 assignment, and then an end of semester exam. Now the 2 assignments, the one you did before the mid-semester, one you do at the second half of the semester, will account for 20% of your course grade. The mid-semester exam will also account for 20% of your course grade, whilst the end of semester exam will account for 60% of the course grade. Let me say that I'm saying at least one assignment, meaning that depending on the particular course, you may have more assignments, but a minimum of one assignment in the first half of the semester and a minimum of one assignment in the second half of the semester. So all those courseworks will account for 20%. The mid-semester will also account for 20%. And the end of semester will also account for 20%, 60%. 2020 plus 60, 100%. Associated with what I've said, there are these rules which you have to take care of, that if you fail a maximum of 3 courses in a particular semester, you shall be required to repeat the semester. Or in the coursework, there is a fail, which is a total failure. There is fail, which is repeatable. I'll show you. Maybe let me just quickly run to that table to come back to what. So when I'm saying fail, I'm referring to these two. If you get 40 to 49%, that is a fail, but you can repeat. If you get the 0 to 39%, then it is a serious fail. So in this region, 3 courses, then if it is up to 3 courses, then you will have to repeat that semester. But if you fail 1 course, then you requested to write a supplementary exam for that course. Okay. If you pass them, if you fail again the supplementary exam, then we can go back to what I was referring. Here, if in the failure it was a failure which was within 49 to 50%, you will have to write supplementary exams in those courses. And if you fail those, then you will also be required to give the semester. I hope that is clear. And if you have failed less than 3 courses, then you will be required to work on those 2 or 1 course which you have failed. So again, going back to that grading, if it is a failure of 49 to 50%, then you'll be required to write a supplementary exam. And if you pass, then you can start the whole thing. But if the failure was 0 to 39%, then you have to repeat that particular course. I hope I'm making myself clear there. And then you will also have this requirement that you cannot graduate with any failing course. So you will be required to work with on any course which you have not done well until you have a good grade. So yeah, that's what I was saying. You cannot be, you can only be allowed to write 1 supplementary exam. So let's say, for example, in that particular semester, you had 5 courses, you failed 1 course, but the failure was 1 which would allow you to write a supplementary exam, and you did the supplementary exam and you failed again. In that course, you just have to repeat it. You get it? Yes. And then there are also these withdrawal requirements. Failing more than 3 courses and it's no good. Or taking more than 3 supplementary exams is also no good. We should not look at that one. That one we should aim not to have. So let's work as much to avoid such a situation from occurring. In terms of grading, this is how we are going to be graded. If you, in any particular course, you get a total of 90 plus, then you be given an A, which is the equivalent to a grade point of 4 distinction. So 86 to 89, it would be an A minus with a grade point of 3.7. Also in the distinction range. 80 to 85, a grade point of B plus, marginal distinction. 76 to 79, B, 3, so grade point of 3 credit, and so on and so forth as that shows. Let me say that you should watch that grade point. That one is a troublesome guy. Troublesome because that one is somebody who will carry along with you up to the end, and you will also determine what type of degree point you will get. Let's assume, for example, you took 5 courses, and in the 5 courses, in one course you got 2.7, 3 courses you got 3, one course you got 3.7. These are going to be weighted to become a semester cumulative semester grade point average. So that might be maybe bring you to around 3.3 cumulative semester grade point average. Next semester, the courses you do and the grade points you make will also be weighted. And what you do in the second semester plus the first semester grade will be averaged, which you will carry on into the next year. In that next semester again, in the next year, you have a cumulative semester grade point average, which will be average with the previous ones. So you keep on taking that up your final point, where the final cumulative grade point average will look at these qualities. So the final within that range will determine that. I hope we are together. Okay. Sorry, Mr. You said 10 minutes, but I think this part, if they have questions, allow me. Yeah? Yes, no. But in case there are a question here, any other questions on what I've said here? In addition to this, you will actually be required to do a research project where, guided by research supervisors, you will have to come up with a research topic, go out, conduct the research, and then come back, write a research report. Because that's the part and parcel of the requirement for a baccalaureate degree. So that also you have to pass in order to be awarded your degree in whatever area you are supposed to do. So that again, I will encourage you to work on it, work hard. But among the courses you're going to be taking, there are courses on research methodology, courses on analysis of data, quantitative research, and all those things, which will prepare you to do your research work. Apart from the coursework itself, there's that requirement of research. Let me say at this point that just as the last letter was saying, as the president said, we are all here to create a good environment for your learning. The learning itself is your responsibility. We can't make you learn, but we create that environment for you to learn. So if you find that in that environment there is something which is affecting your learning, don't hesitate, shout. We are all there to assist in that learning. So when you have a lecturer in class, maybe you don't understand what he's talking about, what she's talking about, shout. Don't be shy. She's going to help you. If she's not willing to help you, my colleague there, the dean of students, and myself, that's why we are there. Let's engage. Bring the letter concerned, bring you and say, what is the problem you are failing to understand? Maybe she talks too fast and we are not able to follow. Then we can say, my friend, slow down a little bit. Instead of going 747 jet, why don't you take a Mercedes Benz so that you are together with your friends? If you are given an assignment and you don't understand what you are supposed to do, don't close yourself in the closet, shout. Because all those things are important on this. Our whole purpose is to help you to learn. As an educationist, I think the president will agree with me. If we cannot help you to learn, we have also failed our job. So our job is helping you to learn. So if you find that there is something hindering you from learning, come back to us so that we also can succeed in making you achieve your learning. I think from there, the others, since I'm sure he's already worried with the time of taking, and he said that there are 4 schools, and each of those schools offers various programs, like the School of Management, those people who are doing programs in accounting, auditing, entrepreneurship, and all those will be under the School of Management, where there's a head you can engage in addition to the lecturers you'll be interacting with. Beyond the head, then you can come to our office, myself and Bob. I always call him Bob, but he is the dean of students. We also have the School of Education, where quite a number of you are doing that BSc program. It will be in that program, there is a head. If you have problems, go to that head. If things cannot be sorted at that point, come to us. We are all there to assist you. We have the School of Governance. Quite a number of you talked about the BSc in Community Development, some Bachelor of Arts in Social Work. That's the school. There is a head of department. If there are problems, come to us. We are there to work together. And then there's a School of Applied Sciences, which offers Bachelor of Science in Applied and Development Economics. Also a head there. If there are problems, come to us. But we also have some postgraduate programs. Those of you, I remember I think it was the president was saying, when you start these things, finish, because some of you might get more interested to continue with others. So there are also opportunities. There are Master of Science in Applied and Development Economics, even PhD in Applied and Development Economics. The School of Management also has intentions to come up with these programs, Master of Science, Master of Business Administration, PhD in Business Administration. I think I can stop there. I guess I've already taken too much time for you.
Thank you. You can take their questions about this section. William.
You talked about supplementary exams.
Yes.
So you also mentioned about the research project that is possible.
Yeah.
So the grade point for the research program is also added to.
The research project is going to be assessed on fail pass.
It's not.
Yeah, it doesn't have marks like this one. But since you are working with a supervisor, the aim will be to help you pass. Yeah. Sure.
Good question. So in case we did not catch it, is the research dissertation grade part of the cumulative grade point average? And the answer is no. The research dissertation is pass-fail, so it doesn't contribute to the cumulative grade point average.
Only that if you fail, then you cannot get the degree.
But you have to, so it's a requirement. Anything else? So we have one more presentation by the Dean of Students, and then we will break for tea. We have tea and I think a small snack before we then carry on with the tour of campus and visiting some of the offices, registering for your courses, visiting the library, and so forth. So without further ado, Mr. Bob and David.
All right. Yeah, so once again, let me welcome you all to the University of Lilongwe. I'll not waste much of your time by introducing myself. In simplest means, I am the academic and administrative middleman. And if it were a religious fraternity, I would have said no one goes to the Father except through me. That's on a lighter note. But however, we are very democratic here. Should you experience any problems with your academics, please don't hesitate. Contact me. I'll answer your queries at the lightning speed. So my humble duty this morning is to present to you the academic calendar. So where we are here, we're on the first week which is for orientation and student registration. So as the executive dean already mentioned, in a semester, you have 15 weeks. Okay. So your classes will start on where it says week 2. So the dates will be 27th and 28th of January. That's when you're starting. You will be given a timetable, which you know the lecturers who are going to take you through each and every course. Perhaps their phone numbers will also be on that. And also, there'll be room numbers on each of the courses that you'll find there. And then week 2, I know some of the things might not apply to you, but if you so wish, they might apply. So in week 3, you have classes as well. And there'll be a student council election. Mostly this applies to full-time students. And then on 3rd of February, we have a freshman's show. I should believe we all know what a freshman's show is, whereby you socialize, get to know people. Yeah. Should you have the time, you can always come. It will start in the evening of that day. And then on week number 4, you have classes, and on that week, you should expect to have your first assignment. Yeah. And then in March, on 4th of March, you'll be required to submit your first assignment. Okay. So how are these assignments given to students? Once you are registered, you have an online platform. Okay. So for this online platform, it's where you find all the study materials that you need for that particular semester, starting with the course outline, lecture slides, recommended books, videos, and any other reference material that you find there. And for submission, you will also be requested to submit through your student portal. Okay? There is no any other channel that you're going to use. If you send an assignment through WhatsApp, your lecture, if it gets lost, then you might find yourself in academic problems. Yeah. And then a week after that, you'll be required to sit for mid-semester exams. That's from the 11th up to the 15th. Those of you that are working, perhaps you need to tell your bosses or the human resource department in advance that these dates should be reserved for your exams. And should you need a reference letter, you can always request it from me. And then in case you didn't do well in the mid-semester exams, there is room to write supplementary or deferred examinations. So that will be on week 12, that's in between 1 and 7th of April. And then on the 29th and 5th of May, on April 1 up to April 7, the second assignment will also be issued, and it will be you'll be required to submit on the 12th of May. And then before you sit for your end of semester exams, you have what is known as a grace week, or a SWOT week. Who knows what SWOT is? Ever heard of SWOT analysis? Strength, weaknesses, opportunity. Yeah, so that's the week whereby you reflect on your academic performance. Okay, areas that you need to work on, and problems that you within the other weeks you experienced. So that's the week where you prepare for your end of term exams. And then the end of term exam will be written between 27th and 31st of May. Directly after that, the Senate will meet to discuss your results, and thereafter, the results will be released. And deferred exams will be scheduled on the last week, that is week number 23. Now, for any reason, should there be public holidays, religious holidays, classes will be rescheduled. Okay? Yeah, so all in all, we have to make sure that we attend these classes. Yeah. I think as per the student handbook, you are supposed to attend 90% of your classes. Otherwise, if you miss your classes, you go straight into an exam, you get 90, 100%, still you'll be requested to repeat that course. Why is that so? Because you have not met the credit hours that were allocated for you. So we need to take class attendance very seriously. And apart from this, as you start your classes, for each course, I would urge you to create WhatsApp groups with your lecturers so that you can communicate effectively. For example, if a lecture is cancelled, that's where you communicate. If you're not coming, of course you alert me, but also you alert your lecturer. And another thing I want to talk about is change of courses. For some reason, if you feel that maybe the course which I registered, it's not really what I want, you have an opportunity to switch. Okay? Yeah, so that has to be done at least the first month after commencing your semester. Otherwise, if it's after that, you'll be in too deep, yeah? And for you to catch up with others, it might be cumbersome. Lastly, let me talk about the internet infrastructure that we have. So we do have access points now where you can access free internet on your gadgets. If you check on your Wi-Fi, you'll find several SSIDs. One will be written Universty Wi-Fi, the other one student Wi-Fi, library Wi-Fi, and perhaps the others are for administrative and academic departments. But for the Universty Wi-Fi and student Wi-Fi, those ones you can join. We put the passwords on the notice boards. I already said about the student portal. And then apart from that, we have the library system. So this is an online library system. Apart from the physical system that we do have an online library system which is linked to your portal, so you can access the digital books that are there. Lastly, we have an enterprise course planning software. As you might have noticed, some of you, those of you that have registered for the courses that you are taking this semester, you are doing it manually, whereby you have to fill a form and then you sign it. Yeah, but come next semester, all that you'll be able to do it on your phone. And I'm sure this semester as well, you'll be able to check your results, your fees balances via the ERP. With that being said, yeah, the other ICT infrastructures are the projectors that you are seeing, and directly after it you have the web camera. What that is used for is to record whatever is happening here in class. So as the executive dean said, we have 3 modes of learning. So we have students that attend lectures online. Okay? So they are able to access that through the cameras. Once it has recorded, we upload it on our database, and then the link is put on the student portal. So in case you missed a class, you don't miss a thing. You can go back to your student portal and then retrieve those lectures. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the UNILU family. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. So that, I believe, concludes the formal part of the program for this morning. Congratulations on making it through this far. I know sometimes sitting through talks drains a bit of our energy, so we wanted to, conscious of that, prepared small refreshments. So in a minute, we're going to all go down. This is Michelle will guide the way. But I just wanted to pause before we do that. This will be when we leave here, we're not coming back. So we're going to go have a small tea break, and then you'll be taken in, should we divide into groups now or after? Okay. So what will happen after you've had your tea and something, maybe 15 minutes or so, is we'll divide into 2 or 3 groups and kind of go through the stations, if you will. So there's with the finance office, there's a bit of information for you there, and if you need to, Frank, gave hello again. So Frank at the reception desk, or in the reception area, has his desk. So if you need to transact, that's what you'll do. You'll also be meeting Victor. Where is he studying at? Room 2. Victor. So you'll also be introduced to the classrooms and register for your courses. So what specific courses are you taking, depending on your program and year. So that you will also do. And then introduced to the library. Our librarian has joined. This is Ms. Tembile, who is your resource together with Jackson. So they run the library. There's also computers in the library. Today will just be a very brief, this is what we have, this is what's possible. And either later today or next weekend, when you begin your classes, you can also visit the library and get a longer introduction to how to use the different systems, the online library, and so on. And then also, you'll be shown the computer lab. There's over a dozen, well, more than that, computers. So there's a good number of computers in the computer lab, which is available for your use to work on your assignments or research or whatever else. So with that, let me just open it up if there's any questions. You can also ask questions of any of us as we're going through. I'm actually going to be staying here to continue with the online students, since that's my but any of the other staff and officers of the university are happy to help you with any questions.
When I was looking at the courses that we have, or that I have in my program, the course outline, I was looking at the ones that the second years are doing, and there was something that I was particularly interested in that is not available in my year. Is there an accommodation that maybe I could take that particular subject?
What a fascinating question. I must look to my colleagues if somebody would like to take an additional course from the previous year of the program. I think that's a wonderful initiative. I will refer you to either, who wants to take the question? Yeah, so speak with Mr. Bell, the Dean of Students about that. Okay. Anybody else want to take more courses? What's the course out of curiosity?
Computer applications.
Not only is he the person to talk to, he's also the lecturer for that course. So he's doubly delighted that you're interested in the course. Yes. Any other questions? That was a good question for everybody to hear, actually. It's helpful to ask questions in the group because often other people have the same question. But if not, let me thank you again and welcome you once more, most warmly, to the University of Lilongwe. I hope you have a wonderful time here. We will see each other, I'm sure, around campus on weekends. And with that, we will conclude this portion of the program. And I'll let Michelle take you down for the tea break and the rest of the program for the night. Thank you all very much.
Upon reflection, yeah, there could be a few people who might be interested because computer applications, they are all evolving, right? So this is a very, very interesting, particularly for people who are joining the year. We made a provision for English. That's why you have English for academic purposes in year 1 and then in year 3, because we realized that perhaps some students may not have had that opportunity when they are doing the performance and so on and so forth. Right? So for computer application, you are right. If we have got a lot of students who are needing that, right? Let us know. And it should not be limited to that, because sometimes there are some courses, right, which might be relevant to where you're working, but not exactly in the mainstream. For example, yesterday I was reviewing some of the courses, the last course that I was asked to review, which is procurement. Right? And there is a course there, humanitarian logistics, right? You may be working in an NGO which is dealing with this work, but as a social worker, right? But that one is not in social work, right? So you may benefit from that course, right? And you direct us, right? Because we know now this is a cycling thing. Every year there is supposed to be some, or there is always some problem here and there, right? And many departments are involved, and you will benefit from that course. So please, look around if there is a course which you think, well, this one, I think would be benefit. Right? That's how we benefited from philosophy ourselves. I mean, it was the Jaguars were doing philosophy, but we sneaked into Professor Gordon's class just to listen to philosophy and things like that, and we got enlightened. Thank you very much.
That's a good point. Maybe this wasn't mentioned just as a framework. The timetable is courses are taught from 8 to 10, 10 to noon, and then 1 to 3 and 3 to 5 throughout the week, Monday through Sunday. So on weekends, there are 8 time slots, and your courses will be somewhere in those 8 time slots. Which, as you can imagine, makes scheduling quite interesting. I believe scheduling is one of the world's great unsolved problems. So as long as things can work with your schedule, then I'm sure arrangements can be made, or perhaps some other arrangements might be made as well. So thank you, dear presidents, executive dean, registrar, dean of students, dear staff for being with us all morning, and most importantly, all of you. May you feel you've reached your academic home, have a wonderful time here, and enjoy the rest of this morning's program. Thank you. If you haven't yet registered with, if you arrived late, just register with Michelle as well. That'll be great. We will be starting the video call in a few minutes. So we're going to end the stream and we'll start the video call.